That'd be great. I actually don't know who many of you guys are.
Good luck.
And Chris Faber with the Canucks. Just your thoughts about coming home here, and what does it mean to you and your family to be a Vancouver Canuck right now?
Yeah, really exciting. Obviously, first I'd like to thank Mr. Aquilini, Jim, Patrick, and Footer for bringing me in. I think, it's a good opportunity for me to play at home in front of my family. I think, having the Oilers kind of work with me to go to a place that I wanted to be, and I think that would fit well for my family, was nice of them, and just really excited to be a Canuck.
How excited are you to just be able to bring your style of game and being hard to play against? I know that's something that Adam Foote's talked about a lot, from wanting to see that from his players. Just being a guy who's hard to play against, how much do you take pride in that?
Yeah, I mean, I've played that style ever since I was 8 years old here in Vancouver. So nothing's going to change. Nothing's really changed when it comes to how I play and what I bring on the ice. I'm very confident in what I can do, and I think Vancouver is going to provide me a really good opportunity to do that.
Hey, Evander, Randy Janda from Sportsnet 650. You've played this team plenty over the years. What kind of team are you joining, and have you seen them from the other side?
Yeah, well, I mean, we obviously didn't play all of this past season, but we played them a couple of years ago in the playoffs, and we had struggled with them throughout the entire regular season as well. So they're a tough team to play. They work really hard. They got some great guys on the back end, obviously with Hughes leading the way back there. So excited to join this group. I don't know a whole lot of the guys. I think I only know Mizey from the past. So looking forward to getting to know everybody and getting integrated with the group.
On that note, have you had a chance to have a conversation with Adam Foote? What do you know about him as a coach?
We've texted back and forth. He's on a fishing trip right now. So I think he had some bad service, but I think we're planning to get together this weekend at some point.
Hi, Evander. Ian, you used to know me from the Vancouver Sun, and I work for Sportsnet.
Is that when you were friendlier?
I'm always me, I guess. So Patrick Alvin told us yesterday when he talked to you, you had the kids at the swimming pool. Mm-hmm. How excited are your kids to be around family and grandma and granddad more often?
Yeah, no, that's a very friendly question. Thank you. They're really excited to get to spend some more time with grandma and grandpa. It was fortunate that we were in Edmonton, so we weren't too far away, so they were able to see them more often than they would have been if we were playing elsewhere. But to be able to come back home and have some family and friends around with having 4 kids definitely makes it a little easier on myself. So that'll be fun for them.
And I think it's another friendly one. Did you have that suit made in the last 24 hours with Canuck colors?
That's what Jim just asked me, actually. And I said, no, I actually had this in my closet. And when I was planning on coming here, I wasn't planning on packing it. But, I said, I got to wear this for the interview. So it worked out well.
And just one follow-up to the suit. Patrick also said yesterday, he doesn't care how you dress. He doesn't care how you arrive at the rink, as long as you perform on the ice and obey team rules. I think he said, you feel like they're willing to embrace you and let you be you with this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think you saw that in Edmonton. I mean, and with regards to what I wear, what I drive in during the playoffs, they're very nice suits. So if you don't like really nice suits and you want to see me coming in looking like a slob, I mean, I can do that too if you want. So, I think, everybody seemed incredibly welcoming. They want to have me here, which is a nice feeling. And, when you feel wanted, you want to perform at your best. So I'm looking forward to hopefully doing that on the ice.
Hey, Evander, Jeff Patterson from the Nation Network. 900 hard games in the NHL, 100 more in the playoffs. You're going to be 34 in August. I'm just wondering what a missed regular season did for the body. And I know you were rehabbing some things, but how good did you feel when you got the green light to get out and play in the playoffs?
Yeah, no, obviously the following year I was dealing with a lot of different stuff. That was difficult, and being able to get my body right, have the surgeries I had, and get back to 100% was a nice kind of reset for me. Obviously, missing the whole year and having to jump into the playoffs is never easy, but I kind of drew on my experience from the year before playing hurt, thinking about, well, if I feel a lot better on the ice, even though haven't played, I think I can contribute in a positive way. And, was happy I was able to do that. And I think, for me, the time off and getting healthy has kind of allowed me to roll the clock back a little bit, in my opinion. And I think hopefully that can translate onto the ice.
And you've probably done this at other times in your career, but this is a contract year. What sort of motivations come along with being in the final year of a contract?
Yeah, I've never heard so many people talk about a contract year. When it comes to me, when there's so many other guys in contract years, it's just incredible. I know I bring a lot of attention to a room and to a press conference, and especially in a Canadian market, and it's great. But I think every year I've ever played in the National Hockey League, I've always wanted to put my best foot forward and work as hard as I possibly could. And I don't think anybody can question that. And this year is going to be no different.
Hey, Evander, Patrick Johnston from the Province and the Sun. Your off-ice story is well documented. There's been a lot there.
It's well documented in a way where, there's not all the information. There's some inaccuracies and there's some.
What I was going to say was it hasn't been a thing at all. There hasn't been discussion about any of that since you got to Edmonton. Feels like you've matured quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Is that your feeling? Are you a new guy from who you were 10 years ago?
Am I a new guy? No. No, I'm the same guy. I think, if you're not improving in all aspects of your life, you're probably not where you want to be. And I don't think there's anybody in this room that isn't a better off, or have learned from their mistakes or learned from positive experiences to make them better moving forward. So for me, I think it's, Edmonton was great. Edmonton brought me into their organization and like I said earlier, embraced me. And, the city kind of fell in love with me, and I kind of fell in love with the city. And we had a lot of on-ice success as well. So it was a great experience, and I'm hoping that can continue here in Vancouver coming back home.
And how much did becoming a father? I mean, becoming a father, we all know changes you. I mean, how's that?
Well, yeah, I think, anybody who has kids understands that, they automatically jump up to be the number one priority in your life, and any good parent anyways. And, for me, that was no different. So, I have 4 of them. They're all very young, and they're all very excited to cheer Dad on.
Hi, Evander. Ben Milger with CTV News. When you look back at some of the off-ice trials and tribulations, can you talk about how they may have humbled you as a person over the years?
I don't know if humbled is the right word. I think what it has shown is my character. I think, character is a word that likes to get tossed out very casually. It can be often used as a weapon when describing somebody. And I think, what real character is somebody who shows you who they are when there's scrutiny and adversity, and how they handle that. And I think, obviously there's been some difficult times for myself, but I think I've come out of it better off and better for it. And I think, you learn and you grow each and every year. And for me, that's no different.
When you combine some of that stuff with your on-ice personality, you play with a grit and an intensity. For some people around the league, they might look at you as a bit of an NHL villain. Certainly, some in the Canucks fandom saw you that way while you're in Edmonton and some of the other teams. Are you at all worried about how Canucks fans might embrace you now that you've come back home?
Well, I think as an opposing player, if the fan base views you that way, I think you're probably doing something right. The worst thing I think anybody could say to somebody is when they're playing against them, or I really enjoy playing against you. That would not be a compliment in my book. So, I think Vancouver, I go back to 2 years ago, this was probably one of the loudest buildings I've ever played in, Game 7. So the fan base here is fantastic. They're passionate. They love their hockey. I was a young kid growing up watching Marcus Naslund and the Sedins and Todd Bertuzzi and Donald Brashear and on and on and on, cheering for him. So, I have a lot of friends that I grew up with that have always been Canucks fans. And, I know what hockey means in this city, and I know what the Canucks mean to the people here. So I'm really privileged and honored to be a part of that.
Hey, Evander, Barry DeLay from Global BC. Used to interview you when you were with the Giants. Anyway, I know you're coming to a new team, but you've been in the league a long time, been through a lot. Do you feel that part of your job description here is to be a leader, and what do you do as a leader?
For sure. I think, I'm going into year 17. Obviously, I have a ton of experience. And I think, my experiences can add a lot of value because they're not all pretty. And I think when you go through different things on and off the ice, you can lend those lessons to some of the younger guys and some other guys that are maybe struggling with things. And I think just being mentally tough, especially in a Canadian market, can be important, and it can be difficult when you're not used to it. So I think leadership is something that I've always tried to do and lead by example, especially on the ice. And I think that's going to be important moving forward as well.
The dressing room camaraderie, or just the in there, it wasn't the greatest in Vancouver this year, obviously, very public. In Edmonton, maybe what did you learn from that room that you bring over here to make it a more cohesive room?
Yeah, I don't obviously you hear about it as a player around the league, but I'm not going to speculate or try to figure out what happened in years past. I think, from talking to some of the guys yesterday on the team, they feel that they have a great group of guys and a great room, and they're excited to have me, and I'm excited to be a part of that. And I think sometimes things can get taken out of context. Again, I don't know all the details of what has happened in the past year, but I think having obviously a good room is important, but also understanding that you put 25 grown men in a room, not everybody's going to be best friends. And I think just like any workplace, you have to be able to get along and respect each other. And at the end of the day, it's about what you do on the ice. And I think this group is poised to have a bounce back year.
Who were some of the guys you talked to yesterday?
I'm going to keep those conversations private. No, I talked to a couple of the guys, and I think there's a good feeling around this team, as much as the outside noise might say otherwise. So that was nice to hear.
It's not often you get to play back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals. Yep. What do you bring from that? What did you learn? What can you share with these guys about that experience? What that means? What you need?
Yeah, I mean, obviously winning in this league, in my opinion, is the hardest thing to do. Getting so close back-to-back seasons and not getting it done is, probably understated here, but very disappointing. It's hard to move on from. It's something you're probably never going to forget. At the same time, in order to get to that point, you got to do a lot of winning. And my 4 years in Edmonton, we did a lot of that, and it's something I was used to before I got to the NHL too, is winning championships. And I think anytime any player steps on the ice, that's the intent. And for me, I think being able to bring experience on how you win in the playoffs, because it is very different than the regular season, and you see that with teams that have great regular seasons and then maybe falter a little earlier than people expect in the postseason. So, and the style of hockey is much different, and the type of goals that are scored. It really doesn't translate a whole lot from the regular season to the postseason. I think those are some of the key things that, when you go that deep, you really pick up on. Sure.
You're such a young player when you won a Memorial Cup with the Vancouver Giants here. Does that just seem like a lifetime ago, or does that still resonate with you? Do you still think about that?
Yeah, I mean, when you add up the number of years and you hear it out loud, it seems like a really long time ago. But you remember it like it was yesterday, whether it was winning the Memorial Cup or even getting drafted by the Giants. Those are great memories. Ron Toivo's done a great job of, continuously bringing that team together over the years. And I think we're having another 25-year anniversary golf tournament next week. So, those are fun memories. I've had great memories in Vancouver playing hockey, and I hope there's more to come.
And did that inform your desire or shape your desire to come back? Some of those memories?
Yeah, I think that played a part of it for sure. Obviously, family, proximity, and I think obviously coming to a team who wants to win. This ownership group and this management group, they want to win, and they want to win now. And I think, again, playing against them in the playoffs this year or 2 years ago, it was one game away, and maybe they're in the cup final. So I don't think we're too far off. Obviously, you have a superstar defenseman. You have an incredibly talented forward and Elias Peterson, and those are exciting people that you have the prospect of playing with. So I'm excited. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.